It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolo, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
This is the Pete Sousa Show. Welcome back. It's good to be back in the studio. Of course, we were here yesterday, but can't beat being back in the Alico building on the 21st floor. Of course, Slovacic's our presenting sponsor. Like to thank them. Also like to thank Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Crawford Austin Properties, Socorro Family Ford. If you need a new whip, right when this show's over, I want you to hop in the car and drive to West and go to Socorro Family Ford. And at least talk to them, because I'm telling you, when you go in there and you talk to them, you're going to feel good. And you're not going to feel like it's a negotiation so much as it is a partnership. So make sure you check out Socorro Family Ford. We are driving into a Tuesday, which, man, bad news all around, really, for my little circle of Texas sports. And we'll start with Baylor's loss to Houston. I'm just going to run through the bad news. Baylor's loss to Houston last night. Cam Stewart from Locked On Baylor will join us later, but Cam has made a very good point throughout the season, and it's no longer, when Cam talks, it can seem like he's whining, but really what he's doing is making really good points. He's more like he's yelling. But Baylor has not had a signature road win this year. St. John's in the Bahamas really doesn't count. I don't think I'm missing anything. And it really hurts because last night they go into Houston and they get bombed. They were down by 25 with, a good amount of time left. They made a run, got it down to 11. I do not gamble on these games, and I emphatically tell you I don't, but I checked the lines, and I saw that Houston was favored by, I think, 10, and they covered. Baylor almost came back, but it's kind of scary looking at the box score that they lost by, let me pull it up here. I just had it. So they shot, I think 66%. They shot 60% from three and 57% from the floor, and they lost. That is unbelievable. I'll tell you, that's probably the first time in Baylor history that they've shot 60% from three and 58% from the floor and lost. I mean, if they have done it before, that was certainly an outlier. And Houston is very, very good. And watching them get up and down the floor, I mean, they destroy you inside. But Baylor had more points in the paint. Baylor did not have more points in the paint. Houston had 8 more points in the paint. And, the loss of Josh Ojamwana against a team like Houston, when you got Javier Francis, you have JoJo Tugler, you have Jawan Roberts. I mean, those are 3 big dudes who can bring you to your needs regardless of who you are, but especially if you're missing a guy like Josh Ojamwana. All right, let's check it out. Bear the truth. I want to get right to what some of the listeners and watchers are saying. Big time disappointment. Uninspired ball all night. I don't see this team having any motivation. Wow. Scotty, did you watch? You were calling a game, right?
I was calling a game. I did not watch. China Spring Girls won their first playoff game. So that's where I was at.
There you go. Scotty does a hell of a job too, by the way. He's got those pipes. I checked him out last night, and right away you're like, man, this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing. So big props to Scotty and Rogue Media Network. By the way, the Rogue Media Network and all we're doing, covering live high school sports everywhere, be on the lookout for that because it's only getting bigger and bigger, and it's promising. And, guys like Scotty are making it.
I hit the wrong button. There we go. Even more than that, if you want to sponsor high school athletics on the Rogue Media Network, you should reach out.
No, yeah, and I'll say one last thing about that. It's not like you will sponsor one team. There's like packages where you sponsor a bunch, right?
Yeah. We would love to put your brand on local community high school sports.
Yeah.
And think that would be good for us and good for you and good for everybody.
Again, it's like Secor Family Ford. It's more like It's not like a negotiation. It's like a partnership. All right, enough of the mumbo jumbo. Let's get back to the hardcore sports like we like to do around here with guests like Matt Mosley. So Mosley was amazing yesterday. And I want to get to Luka's debut against the Mavs, back to bear the truth against the Jazz for the Lakers, excuse me. I don't know that the team lacks motivation. I think Houston's just really, really, really good. I mean, they're ranked 6th in the country. They were back home after 2 games on the road. Yeah, they did play Colorado Saturday and turned around and played Monday, but so did Baylor. And that's a game you're just not going to win. Again, Cam will call it a schedule loss, right? Deeper inside on that game, I want to, there's always like stuff out there. People complain about broadcasting, and I get it. We watch it. Sports. It's fun. You complain about broadcasters. Sometimes you even complain about me. That's fine. But when you're watching a game on ESPN and you have John Shambi, you have Fran Fraschilla, and you have Chris Budden calling this game, talking about Baylor Houston. It was entertaining. It was informative. Off the top, Shambi and Fran really set the stage for it's going to be an intense game, 7,000 people strong at the Fertitta Center. And early in the game, as play starts to pick up, right, and intensify a little bit, Fran Fraschilla notes that Baylor's having trouble switching, right? They've been switching all year long, but now Roach and Love, they're back on the floor together. Love hasn't played a ton. this season or in seasons past. So there's some stuff that Baylor's finding their way with. He mentions they're having trouble switching. He noticed that. So the broadcast comes back from a timeout, and Chris Budden gives this update. Scotty's going to play it, and then we're going to comment on it real quick. But check this out.
Let's go over to Chris Budden.
And Scott Drew, during that last timeout, spent a lot of time talking about the defensive switches. Langston Love, everyone was very frustrated that it wasn't working, and they were getting lost on a man. And so Scott Drew said, fine, we're not going to do that anymore. Blame that on us and the staff. You guys just stay with your man.
That's good stuff, Chris. Yeah, really good. Because you could tell they were confused. They've done it both ways this year. But with all the injuries, there's no.
That is as good as it gets, sideline reporting wise. In today's, I don't care if you're watching the NFL on Fox. I don't care if you're watching, NBA on ESPN or NBC now or Turner. That's as good a report as you'll get. And I think I can give like an anatomy to why such a good report like that takes place. First of all, these three get an opportunity to work together every so often. And it's tough now with college basketball schedules. And, as you get down the stretch, you seem to get more of the same broadcasters. But there's so much inventory, so many games. But these three know each other really well. And it's very clear that they've worked together a lot before. So you got great chemistry between the three of them, not just the two, the three. And earlier in the game, Fran Fraschilla had noted that. He said they're having trouble switching. So right away, you've got like Chris Budden is clearly paying strict attention to what the broadcasters are saying. Now, you could say, oh, that's her job. But you got to realize when you're moving and grooving and running around and doing sideline hits from the baseline and then getting back to your seat and then trying to tee up other stories, if you're Chris Budden, you could miss something like that, a piece of information, because you do have the broadcast in your ear. So she picks up on that. And then her relationship with Scott Drew, and this is why it's so important, that there's some continuity. I've called the Big 12 for I'm in the middle of my third year now. So I am luckily starting to familiarize myself, and I have over the past handful of years. Like, really, you get to know the SIDs, you get to know the coaches, right? You get to know some of the support staff, some of the players even who have stuck around. And you sort of have a little more access, or they're a little more comfortable with you being around the program. And, Chris Budden, I'm sure, has been working with Baylor for, close to a decade now, probably. I remember, at least it's 5-6 years, doing the Big 12, doing a lot of it. That's my ballpark guess, just on this off the top of my head. But she gets close enough to the huddle where she's able to get that information. She also gets the honesty from the coach. You just don't get that anymore. And it's not like it was some crazy revealing report that made Baylor look bad. It was a real honest assessment and a look into what's happening right now. So people so often talk about, why do we have sideline reporters? Blah, 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 blah. That's why we have sideline reporters. To be able to, that's something that Fran can't get from where he's sitting. That's something that John Shambi can't get from where he's sitting. The producer can't get. Only the sideline reporter can nestle up to a huddle and hear what's going on and convey it to us. And it takes talent, right, to convey it in that manner. So a great job by Chris Budden. And I was like, damn, that was really cool. And it goes back to more basketball now. Baylor has had so many different players coming and going this year that there has been, you talk about chemistry and continuity, not a whole lot on a team that prides itself on that type of chemistry and continuity, especially when they're playing man-to-man defense, right? Scott Drew made his bones for long stretches at Baylor playing zone. And they try to play man-to-man more often, but unfortunately you got a 5-guard lineup sometimes because of the injuries your team has been decimated by, and you find yourself disconnected defensively. And you cannot be disconnected against Kelvin Sampson's Houston team. That team is so good. And, oh, by the way, Baylor shot 9 of 15 from 3. Houston shot 10 of 24. Now, real quick, Cliff's notes about Houston this year. They are always, getting ready to do that Houston game against Colorado. You're going to be looking into the Cougars and see they play a lot of good defense. No, they play elite defense. They lead the nation again in scoring defense. I know they're top 2 or number 1 in in defensive field goal percentage, and they've led it like the last 4 years in scoring defense. But this year, they shoot the three just as good as anybody in the country. Emmanuel Sharp was back last night. Bad news for Baylor. Bombs away, a three-point threat. Let's see. How did he shoot? I know every time I looked up, he had another three. He was 3 of 7 from three. And then you got LJ Cryer. LJ, 4 of 7 from three. Those two right there are huge reasons why Houston is among the leaders in three-point shooting percentage. And a neat little story about LJ and his girlfriend. He's dating former Baylor basketball player Jordan Lewis. I know this because she told me earlier in the year. I did a women's basketball game. It was me, Jordan Lewis, and Jim Haller. And, her and I were talking. She was like, I live in Houston. LJ Cryer's my boyfriend. I was like, oh, no way. That's super cool. And so before the Houston game, I go up to LJ. And this is great how, relationships are, right? LJ's sitting on the bench. And I'm like, LJ, what's up? I told him who I was. I was calling the game. And I was like, I worked with Jordan earlier in the season. And he, lit up. He's, so excited. And he goes he's like, she's getting better. I'm like, dude, she's good. She's getting better. I think she's really good right now. And I was like, I'm telling you, dude, she has the it factor and she does. So it was pretty cool to see him light up. He hurt his knuckle against Houston, but he was back in action last night. And as Shambi noted during the broadcast, no problem with the knuckle. He again 4 of 7. I think the knuckle's okay. Kelvin Sampson talked to us after the game, me and Scott Williams, and I think he may have been a little more cautious about his injury because he mentioned Kelvin Sampson that he had an issue with his knuckle that could have been problematic. It clearly was not. Hats off to the Houston support staff and all that stuff. So one more thing on women's basketball before we get into the Mavs and Cowboys. Look out this year. So last year for the WNBA, everybody loves to talk about Caitlin Clark, and why not? She's a generational player. Caitlin Clark is a phenom, and she's a great reason to watch women's basketball, not only because she's part Pete Maravich, but there's part PR machine behind her. But boom, how about shots like that all season long? The Indiana Fever, and I may have missed this, but I know they had the official introduction yesterday. They signed DeWanna Bonner, okay? DeWanna Bonner is one of the best players in the WNBA. She played for Connecticut and Phoenix, and she averages about 15 points a game, super intense, averaged 15 exactly last year. She also had a little scrum with Caitlin Clark in the playoffs when Connecticut eliminated the Fever. This is going to make Caitlin Clark even better, and it's going to make the Fever even better. Last year, there was a reason Caitlin Clark was picked number 1 or 2 years ago because the Fever, they were the worst team in the WNBA. They have a new head coach. They have a great new player. There is a lot to be excited about if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, and this will probably get scarier for the rest of the WNBA because now you're going to say, or even society, right? Why are you talking about Caitlin Clark? Well, we're talking about Caitlin Clark because she's awesome and her team is awesome. And it's a real opportunity for Caitlin Clark to make a huge stride as far as winning is concerned. And it's going to be really good for the WNBA and women's basketball. The Indiana Fever getting better is going to be scary. And it's also going to be scary for people who don't like Caitlin Clark or try to push back when folks talk about how amazing she is, because this year, I don't know that you're going to be able to say, well, her team's not doing that well. Last year, the Fever started off terribly. They got off to they went on a huge run, made the playoffs. I think they clinched a spot with about a week or two remaining in the season. And this was after being last place in the conference for a while, but exciting times in women's basketball. DeWanna Bonner is a bucket. And, she got drafted in 2009. She's 37 years old. No spring chicken, as she would admit, but she certainly she plays with great bounce, great energy, and is a real competitor. And I'll be super interested to see how she combines forces with Caitlin Clark. Forces were combined last night as we move to the situation in Dallas. We're talking about the Mavs, and we're even going to talk about the Cowboys, but we'll start in L.A. Last night, Luka is introduced as a member of the Lakers team on the floor, and there he is, just doing work 14 points in 24 minutes. Lakers beat the Jazz. Luka easing his way into the lineup. A lot of special things. There were bells and whistles last night. Crypto.com Arena was described as euphoric last night for Luka's debut. LeBron James was heard prior to the game in the huddle saying to Luka, hey, man, just be your effing self. You know, don't you fit in. Like, we got to figure you out. Like, you're the man. Be the alpha. And to top it off, when the game started, LeBron told Luka, like, look, man, you know, this is going to be yours, especially this debut. And when they were doing the starting lineups, Luka was introduced last. And the crowd apparently, you know, this is a Lakers crowd that doesn't get there very early, but they were early to see Luka, and the place erupted. And it's got to be really sad to watch this for Mavs fans, because the guy who you traded for Luka is now out with an abductor strain. Matt Mosley said yesterday he's not sure that he has one. I can tell you that he'll find out that he has one the next time he plays tennis, because he'll probably pull it. We know our boy Mosley's not getting any younger. But Scotty, let's get you on real quick. And I swear to God, I'm not trying to pour salt in the wound. I'm just trying to get like a front row seat reaction. This is already as bad as it could be. Like,
I transferred, Pete. I'm a Lakers fan.
You are a Lakers fan. That's right. And by the way, a lot of fanfare around Scotty's announcement. It was made this day, last Tuesday, a week ago. There's like 6,000 people that are weighing in on Scotty and his announcement. But let's pretend you still were a Mavs fan. How do you feel right now? Now, again, we are all prisoners of the moment.
Yeah.
And this is not.
Yeah.
Ultimately, even though I hate on this trade so much, we do have to give the Mavs organization grace. And hold on, they will be judged on the wins and losses long term after this trade. That being said, exactly.
Wonder which player is going to contribute to more wins for the remainder of their NBA career, Luka Doncic or Anthony Davis?
What did you feel when you saw the official word? Because last night, you saw the injury, and then it was even magnified. Kyrie Irving's, which is actually pretty cool for Mavs fans. Kyrie's going to play in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
He's going to replace Anthony Davis because he can't play because this is a serious injury.
Yeah.
It's going to keep him out for maybe a month. What's your reaction to the injury?
Oh, Anthony Davis got hurt. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. It's and what's sad is he really did come out and give a quarter and a half's worth of reminder, top 10 player in the league, can score at will. He was firing up the crowd. You kind of like to see how he embraced the moment, but this has been the knock on AD his entire career. He doesn't stay healthy for a full season ever. And that's just one of many reasons why the Luka trade is asinine, is because they wanted to talk about Luka's fitness when AD, again, it is like a unicorn season when he completes the season fully healthy. Again, color me shocked that he went down hurt. And then all the rumors behind that of did they rush him back to the court to try to assuage the angry Mavs fans? And did that lead to this aggravation of the injury?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. You haven't seen that?
The amazing support staff of the Mavs who ran Luka Doncic out of town, right?
Exactly.
Hurrying back.
Did they rush back someone from injury to try to calm fans down?
So this could be, this trade is quite possibly the biggest freaking joke in the history of the NBA.
In the history of professional sports.
It is. It's potentially that bad.
Yeah.
And the frustration for fans in the Metroplex and out to folks like us in Central Texas, if you're Cowboys and Mavs fans, has to be everyone's into the red, because it's simple. And here's what I was thinking about, right? Jerry Jones should not be making any decisions related to football, and this trade sucks. And it's like, if you're a Mavs fan or you're a Cowboys fan, it's not like we're performing brain surgery here. It's so simple for everyone to see. And if you ask the guy in the NBA's offices on Park Avenue, and you ask the guy in the barber shop, right, in Dallas or in Waco, they're both going to say, yeah, that trade blew. It sucked, right? The the person with the most intel and the person with the most rabid, passion for the team has the same feeling, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing in the NFL. An NFL insider like Ed Werder, Matt Mosley, and the guy working at Home Depot, right, in McKinney will tell you that Jerry Jones shouldn't be making any decisions. It's got to be so frustrating right now because it's not even like I've always been Mr. like there's more than we know to a situation. Like I don't think there is.
No,
I think both of these situations absolutely stink for fans in the DFW.
Oh, it's horrible. And to pile on, the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Like it just keeps stacking up. I think Rob Pelinka had a quote somewhere last week where he at some point implied that negotiating with Nico Harrison was like working with a child. Not having to give up anything more than one first-round pick, along with Christian Davis for the best player in the NBA. So it's ridiculous. And to add on to that, Pete, I don't want to read too much into it because this is one of the purest people I think in the spotlight. But Dirk Nowitzki being at that game last night in LA, and not only being there, which good for him, he's allowed to be there, but tweeting about it. This is a guy that hardly uses social media, certainly isn't going around making statements. And he said in his tweet, I'm always a Mavs fan for life, but I got to support my boy. Dirk Nowitzki has never been courtside supporting any team other than the Mavs ever. That's as close to a middle finger from Dirk as you're going to get from a class act like Dirk Nowitzki to the Mavs organization. That he was at that game cheering on the Lakers in support of Luka Doncic, rather than Mavs had a home game last night. Dirk wasn't there. Like, it does not get any worse if you're a Dallas area sports fan.
No, because and it's not going to get any better either.
No,
because because
we have Brian Schottenheimer. Everybody.
Well, no. My thing is like long term. You have ownership groups who are over their skis.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I always say it. I love Jerry Jones, what he's done for the NFL, his history of the game. But clearly now it's like it's time to take the remote control away. Like when my father was aging, like we didn't give him the remote. You know what I mean? Like what was he going to do with the remote? He wouldn't know how to work it, right? Yeah. Like Jerry's the same deal. Like get the remote away from him, and let's put on something that everyone can watch, and find a way to get there in the quickest, most efficient way possible.
It is maddening to think about what would Jerry Jones' legacy or reputation be had he at any point in the last 30 years just hired a GM.
Yeah.
What would his legacy be? His legacy would be he turned the Dallas Cowboys the most valuable sports franchise in the world. Wow. What a great owner. But instead, he's had to also be GM. And so his legacy will forever be, the guy who fired Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson because he thought he knew better, and then in 30 years had the longest streak in the NFC of not making a championship game because he doesn't know football.
One of my favorite Jerry Jones stories. Is Cam there, by the way?
He is. Okay,
we'll get to Cam after this story. And Zach Burke and I have talked about this, but because it's in the Jeff Pearlman book, Boys Will Be Boys. And this was a funny, firing Landry was a little crazy because of the way he did it. If you remember, they were at that famous taco restaurant in Dallas. Both were in suits and ties. And they were captured there. It was a wild story how it went down, but like a photographer was actually at the same restaurant, called or maybe it was a writer or Dallas Morning News guys, called his desk and was like, hey, I'm looking at Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. Like these rumors are true. Somebody shows up, gets a picture of them, whatever. So the cat's out of the bag, and it's embarrassing for Tom Landry. And Tom Landry's playing golf at like Austin Country Club. And Jerry Jones is like, I'm going to be a man and go tell him in person. So he's waiting for Tom Landry when he comes off the golf course. And Jerry Jones is like, I just wanted to come tell you myself, like you're being relieved or whatever. And apparently Tom Landry went up one side and came down the other. Jerry Jones was like, you don't get out of here. Like you didn't need to come tell me this in person. Like, kick rocks, dude. And even Jerry said probably wasn't the best idea to go tell the greatest coach or one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Mount Rushmore coach.
Yeah. To do that. And it's cool that Tom Landry was like, beat it, dude. Like, I don't care who you are, how much money you have, or what you plan on doing. Like, hit the road. And that's one of the reasons probably Tom Landry was so amazing, is that competitive fire.
Big time. 1,000%. No doubt. Yeah.
You know, Cam Stewart has competitive fire. He's waiting in the wings. I can't wait to talk to Cam about what happened last night and what's going to happen for the rest of the season with this Baylor basketball team. Locked on Baylor's Cam Stewart after this.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story: The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but at a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Hey, Cam. Look at this guy. I mean, I'm loving the long hair, dude.
Don't get used to it.
Why?
You won't see it tomorrow.
Why?
I'm getting it cut, Pete.
Yeah, but what would bring about you getting it cut?
I don't know. I'm sick of it.
Something's brewing over there in Chicago. Something's going on with you.
I'm sick of dealing with it, man.
He couldn't come on early today, Zach, earlier because he had a meeting. He's getting his hair cut.
Yep.
Unrelated.
Unrelated.
The Blackhawks new play-by-play guy?
Yes, that's exactly what it is, Pete. I'm transitioning from my Rogue Media Sports show to play-by-play of the Chicago Blackhawks.
By the way, congratulations. Like, everything is like, your show is doing great. It's still so good. You've made the move from Central Texas to Chicago. You really got it. You got your fastball going, pal. Congrats.
Thanks, Pete. I'm keeping those hitters off balance. Let me just say that.
I was talking to our boss, Corey Dickman, yesterday, and he was talking about just the absolute money train that is the Cam Stewart show, which is like, hey, man, yeah, I'm telling you. No, it's yes.
Oh.
Anybody the Cam show is on after mine, and it's you can find him on the Rogue Media Network, and he's kicking ass. He won't be talking about Baylor today, which is why I want to talk to him, because he's usually
We'll be talking to Pete today.
You will.
Yeah.
I sometimes I don't know. You never confirm, Cam.
No, I want to talk to Pete. I don't know what segment yet, but I'll let Pete decide. I'm open. I'm a book, man. So.
I wouldn't mind. I talked yesterday for a little while about Tom Brady, his broadcasting career.
I know that's what you want to talk about. I'm more than happy to talk about that.
Yeah, I have some opinions, but I want to get your opinions on Houston and Baylor last night. Baylor was run out of the gym, and by a very good Houston team. You have talked all season long, very knowledgeably about the fact that these are scheduled losses. And it was another one last night. You look at it on paper. I checked before the game; they were a 9.5 point underdog. And they and Houston.
When was the last time they were a 9.5 point dog? Man?
Yeah,
6 years, 7 years. I don't know. Sorry,
you know better than me.
Yeah.
You know better than me.
Long time.
It was very cool that was the first time they met at the Fertitta Center since 1996. Since they were both in the Southwest Conference, I was loving that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Only played once last year.
I was in my prime weed smoking days. I was probably high AF.
Nice.
Yeah.
Preview of me at about 8 p.m.
So what were your thoughts last night about Baylor? Do you feel like this is an untenable situation where the ship is sinking?
Not exactly, but what I will say is the ship is half sunk and it's going to stay there. They're just in a limbo. Like they're not going to, I don't think they're going to get any better this year. And yet I don't think they're going to crater out of the tournament picture because honestly, I thought that they were really on the cusp for a while here of being actually in the tournament. And Lenardi keeps putting him on the 8-9 line, which is not comfortable, but it's not 11, right? Like BYU and UCF, those teams are still battling just to get in the dance at all. And so like there's nothing that I could see that they'll really get past the 8 line. And I don't see them dropping past a 9. So we're just in this limbo. It's almost like there's nothing to play for. The only thing that they could do to really improve their chances is, make a deep run or win the Big 12 tournament, but Baylor usually boycotts that tournament. So I don't think they'll be making a significant run there.
I don't think, by the way, that will change this year. I mean, you've got a team that's been, I think, a top 3 seed 4 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be looking at that seed. So I believe there will be a different approach to the Big 12 tournament for whatever that's worth.
I hope. And they don't have great depth, obviously, which I think is something that's a little bit overblown in college basketball for those real top tier teams, but they got out depthed last night against Houston. And like, I know you bring me on as the Baylor expert, Pete, but I don't have much to say about this. They're not as good a team as Houston. They're not on the same plane as Houston. They're not even really close right now. And Houston, I said the only real shot that Baylor would have last night was if LJ Cryer's injury flared up and he didn't play, and they would need to go like nuclear from 3, and they're not a 3-point shooting team. And they shot 60% from 3, and they lost by double digits. It was 22. They just need so many things to go right to win a game of that magnitude, I should say. And they're not. There's too. Honestly, what it comes down to, big picture for this year, this team, is you just look at the box scores every night, Pete, and it's like, how many guys are you just getting nothing from? Nothing.
Yeah.
Last night, Jalen Celestine and Jaden Nunn combined to give you a single point.
In 39 minutes.
39 minutes.
Yeah.
They gave you 1 point and they didn't hit a field goal. Like that can't happen. That cannot happen. Your only returning starter and a guy you thought was a steal out of the portal at a 40% three-point shooting clip from last year at Cal. Nothing. And Roach takes 3 shots in 25 minutes or so.
Why was that limited? He hit both threes that he took.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I guess more time for Langston Love, but I'm taking Jaden Nunn out for some more time for Langston Love, who I thought played well last night. But you think of what you need for Baylor to win a game of that magnitude. You need VJ 20-plus points. You need Norchad Omier significant double-double. I'm talking like 18 and 13 to win a game like that. You need Jalen Celestine to get 5 boards. You need some combination of Roach and Nunn to hit about 5 or 6 threes. And you just don't get that. And you need a lot of that to go your way in order to win these games. So, yeah, I think they're much more likely to drop out of the tournament picture than they are to get a top 3 seed and keep that streak going. I don't think they will drop out of the tournament picture, but I think that's more likely.
Hey, I just want a couple questions for you. How much worse is this team without Josh O?
That's going to be a bigger deal than a lot of people think. Some people still clown on Josh O. I was still looking for more out of him at the beginning of the season, but I love the way he's played in conference. And he just does a lot of things for you. He's a more versatile defender than I think people give him credit for. He's not the most switchable guy from an offensive standpoint. Like, you're not just, switch onto your guard to get him on Josh O. He can defend that a little bit. But not having depth at that position is going to really hurt them. And you're going to ask a lot of Norchad Omier to play 38 minutes a night, not get into foul trouble, and also win those minutes where you're going very small. We thought it was a small ball lineup with Norchad at the 5, but they were very comfortable playing that throughout most of this year. They're going to be a very small team and not a particularly quick team and not a great 3-point shooting team. So the spacing will be great, but I don't know if they can exploit it.
Well, is there an opportunity now for them to develop continuity as they come down the stretch with this new lineup, right? You've got Love, you've got Roach, who are back. I mean, those are guys that can be elite if, they're playing at the top of their game. So is there a world where these guys figure it out? And how do they do that?
Yeah, I think there is a world where they figure it out. I just don't think it's a very high ceiling. That's all. Like, I think if they figure it out, they could, win a game in the NCAA tournament, maybe get out of the first weekend, or maybe it is, playing for a Big 12 tournament championship. I think that's probably the level, rather than, hey, if they figure this out, they're going to the Final Four. I think that's way out of reach. How they do it, I think that becomes a little bit more complicated, because amazingly, in mid-February, we're still not totally convinced on some of the roles on this team. I thought that coming out of the injury that Jeremy Roach would be playing more off ball and maybe even coming off the bench, and neither of those things have happened. So if they are to figure it out, like if they are to use this small ball lineup to their advantage, it's going to need to be a lot of slashing and quickness, because they don't have 3-point shooting. So that's where it becomes, how can you, a guy we haven't really talked about here, how can you kind of get the most out of what VJ Edgecombe does well? Is there a lineup or some sets where VJ's in the dunker spot, or he's your rebounder for a couple of minutes? I'm interested to see where that is. VJ at his best is a very good player from 2-point range and has been pretty solid from 3 as well. But you've seen when he's had his best games, he's cutting, he's slashing, he's finishing at the rim. You've got 2 freshmen who can do that, one pretty consistently in VJ, the other being Rob Wright. So it's going to be, honestly, the best offense they could run, I think, Pete, is the Mark Few offense. That slashing, cutting, 2-point
I totally agree.
2-point you to death.
A
constant movement. BYU did it under Mark Pope, but with obviously more 3s than 2s.
Yeah.
But that kind of constant movement, I think, is how they will get their matchups. Yeah.
And you get your half court wide open.
Right. It's a tough thing to just implement in mid-February. So I don't think they're doing that, but I think that would be a great fix for them if they were doing that.
Defensively, I thought, and you love to call me an apologist for stuff like this,
Sure.
but ESPN did a kick-ass job last night. And I talked about it earlier. Fran Fraschilla mentioned the problem switching. And then they come back from a break, and Chris Budden, who was just in the huddle, said basically, like, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. And Coach Drew accepted full responsibility for it. That, by the way, is a lights out sideline hit. You do not get that as often as you'd like in today's college basketball world or any sport. But what did you see as far as defensively for this team? And is that something that can be fixed?
I would think yes, it can be fixed, but again, we're talking on February 11th here. If it ain't fixed now, it's not fixed. It's not being fixed, you know?
But I would push back, Cam, and say that there's been so many moving parts that, because Langston Love and Jeremy Roach, they've both been out, right? So now they're back on the floor together.
Yeah.
The communication is sucks. And then you could say, well, is this where the assistants, right, are hurting? The brain drain, right? Guys leaving the program, taking jobs coaching elsewhere. Is that what we're starting to see surface and bubble up here?
I think we've been seeing that. We've been seeing that. Kind of the lack of continuity on the coaching staff, the lack of continuity, and look, that's going to happen every once in a while. I'm not like killing Baylor for having to replace, like that was it through no fault of their own. It's not like Scott fired his coordinators like you would in football and brought new guys in. But yeah, defensively they were okay last night. I honestly thought it was a bad Houston shooting night. And Juwan Roberts did not do a lot on the offensive end. I thought he weirdly had he had 10 and 3 last night. And Norchad had, I want to say 18 and 5, 19 and 5, something like that.
19 and 5.
19 and 5. And yet I'm thinking, like, watching the game in the eye test, I'm like, huh?
8 of 9 from the floor for Norchad.
Yeah, and he got some good looks. But I'm thinking from the eye test, I'm like, Juwan did a lot of his job just by keeping Norchad at 5 rebounds. He only got 3, which is not great by his standards. But if Norchad's in double-digit rebounds, Baylor has a real shot to win the game. And he kept them far away from that. So, I thought they were okay defensively, but they just haven't put two good defensive games together, 2 in a row. Like I will say, I'll give them this. They are a much better man team than they were a month and a half ago, as recently as that. I think that they've improved on that in conference, but I also think there are some teams that have just really exposed their man defense. BYU really did.
I love when Clipboard Cam goes X's and O's. The man defense is better. Clipboard Cam, let's go to the football field. One last question for you. I know you got to get ready for your show. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
How much separation did Tom Brady put between himself and Patrick Mahomes on Sunday? He certainly didn't do it with his broadcasting chops, but with his football career and Mahomes coming up short.
About the separation between Baylor and Houston this year, I would say. Look, Patrick Mahomes is great, man. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks ever. But this is what I was talking about last week, man. You don't just become better than Brady because you have time to do it. Okay? Like that. And not for nothing. I mean, the kid's made 5 Super Bowls. You can't take away from that. But Brady never had a Super Bowl game like that.
No, he
never. And I don't think ever had a playoff game like that. That was horrible. Yeah. Like he was bad. That second pick, especially where he's trying to go to Hollywood over when they're 17-0 at that point. Yep. They're at their own goal line, basically. And he's just like 5 yards short on the throw trying to make a play. And it's like staring down the middle linebacker. It was terrible, man. And this was, I heard some people on social media and everything saying like, this could be, the Mahomes, like what Brady did against the Falcons. This could be the comeback. This could be his moment. And I was sitting there thinking in the first half, like, sure, it could be. Like, I wouldn't rule that out for Patrick Mahomes. But if you remember that Super Bowl, like, the Patriots were moving the ball. They were down 25 points, so that is what it is. But they had a fumble on the Falcons side of the field. They had a pick 6 on the Falcons side of the field. They had a fourth down stop, or got stopped on fourth down. Like, they were moving the ball. They just didn't have the end product. Kansas City had a first down on their first play from scrimmage, and then didn't have another one till like midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
So he's still great. Like, he's still great. He's still the quarterback, the one quarterback in the NFL above all others that I want with the ball in his hands at the end of a game. But it's 7-3. Like, that's a big difference. And this is where it's going to become fascinating, because I don't think Mahomes' talent is going to, like, his talent is going to dissipate at all, even into his 30s. But there's going to be a lot less talent around him. Like, I don't know. You saw that Travis Kelce on Sunday and think he's got a lot left in the tank.
He's toast, dude. He's toast.
Done, man. He's done. And then the other ones are Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, if you want to make an argument for how great Patrick Mahomes is, you can say how great it is that he even got them to the Super Bowl with that receiving core and that run game. But to me, it's just not close. He's still great, but that's how great I think Brady is. I mean, people are saying that, he's not in the same conversation as Brady. And I thought that was a little harsh at first, but I think it's right, because Brady's just in a tier by himself. Like, Peyton Manning and Mahomes and Rodgers and Elway and Montana, they're all effing great. But the guy's in a tier by himself. That's all. That's all.
And I think this is the point that I'll leave you with. That
One last thing.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Troy Aikman. Okay, he is just better overall quarterback. But you would know this better than me. I wonder how much discussion there was about Troy Aikman in that conversation of, hey, now he's got 3. Montana's the leader with 4. He's still young. He's still got the triplets and all this. And he finishes with 3. There's a world where Patrick Mahomes finishes with 3, and he still has a great career, 3 times as many as Aaron Rodgers has. So.
And we were even talking about, decades ago about Aikman, like, you kick him around in conversations because Bradshaw was another name, right?
Yep.
With the 4 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Yeah. So and Aikman is more Bradshaw than Brady or Mahomes. Sure. In a sense where he was amazingly accurate, but the pieces around Aikman and Bradshaw were just always elite, right? They were always, those were the separators when, with Mahomes and with Brady, it's almost like, wow, they find a way all the time to do it with these type of teams. Now, Mahomes really hasn't stood the test of time, and that's going to be a huge thing because, Brady turns a corner. I don't know if it's Giselle or whatever, where he's like, my body is a temple and I'm not going to mess with it at all. Like, that's a huge deal. LeBron, same thing. Like, in order to extend your career into your 40s, dude, like, you got to really do some stuff off the field that will separate you. Again, the separation term will separate you from your competition. And we'll see if Mahomes is going to do that.
I think that's where Brady is, like, that's where no one will catch him in terms of, like, overall. If Patrick Mahomes retires at 35 and he's got 5 Super Bowls, like, that's still really effing impressive. Like, that's really impressive. But I think that's where Brady kind of puts himself over the hills and into the next county. Like, you're just not going to do it till you're 43. Huh?
Over the river and through the woods. All right.
Yeah, whatever. 44, 45, whatever you want.
Let me know what segment you want me on. I'm here for it.
Let's do the second. I don't want to keep you forever.
Okay, second segment with Cam. All right, brother. Cam Stewart, you can check him out coming up here in just about 10 minutes on the Rogue Media Network. And check us out after this break. We'll be right back.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grinco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grinco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at grincoscience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Zach Burke gives you the this, that means you're on. By the way, I want to do something that this has got to be a new signal. When Jalen Hurts came to the line of scrimmage, this was like an audible, and he gave A.J. Brown that signal. He liked A.J. Brown's matchup, and he just went like this. Like it was on. I'll stand up and do it. It was like. Christy, thanks, babe. Okay, so
I'm hearing you.
what I was doing was this, right? This is the Jalen Hurts. He did that for AJ Brown at the line of scrimmage. So this thing has got to be coming. You know, I love this. Christy, you're watching. Maybe this will be a signal when like we have to leave a party. I'll just hit you like this. Like, come on, let's get the hell out of here, right? Because that's what Jalen Hurts did to AJ Brown, and he went. Pew! Jalen goes to the line of scrimmage. He likes the matchup with AJ. Boom, right, all the way down the field. Big play for the Birds. Speaking of which, 126 million people watched that Super Bowl. That's a 2% increase over last year's record-breaking game on CBS. Zach Burke, can I bring you up real quick? I know you're busy, but I got one question for you. Because nobody, I know you were watching the game in a hotel, right?
Actually, I made it back in time.
Oh, so you're back in time. Okay. Should the Monday after the Super Bowl be a holiday? I want your real answer.
No.
Why not?
I mean, the game was done by what, 9:30?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're in Philadelphia and you're out there like tearing down like, you know, light posts and stuff like that, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But no, if you're like, you know, you're an Eagles fan and I don't know, Tuscaloosa or Oregon, like, no, you don't get the day off the next day. You're in bed before. Yeah, no.
And by the way, don't talk shit. If Riesel won a state championship, we'd be greasing up the 2 or 3 light poles in that town. All right, so you guys would be climbing up there.
It's just one. It's just one light pole. That's it. It's not a lot of work.
I went out to Riesel when I was at KWTX it was I forget Spirit Week, and I got a T-shirt that said "Win State." This was 2017. I still wear it. I love it. They did not win state that year. But yeah, 126 million people, and I love the Super Bowl so much. And it is another holiday. A couple buddies of mine were messaging yesterday, and of course we're kind of drunk on the Eagles' success, right? But it's like the Super Bowl really is. It's like Thanksgiving, but maybe almost even a little better. I love. You know, I talked about this with the Luka trade, and as much as it sucked for people that are fans in the DFW and in Texas, it was frustrating, but also at the same time, it was cool to have everybody come together and talk about the same thing. That wasn't anything like nasty or in the news or, you know, anything bad like that. So I love the Super Bowl. I wrote a paper. This is the last thing I'll say. At the University of Richmond, our sociology, are we not working?
No, you're still going.
Okay. It's all right, Zach. Don't worry. I wrote a sociology. Can people hear me?
Yeah, it's just pulling from the camera
now. So I'll wrap up with this. I wrote a paper. Our sociology teacher gave us statistics that, like, unfortunately, and I don't know if this is still true. I hope it's not. But the most abuse, like domestically, happened on Super Bowl Sunday, and that's awful. Okay, but at the same time, I was a product who grew up not at the same time, but here was my experience. I grew up watching the Super Bowl as a kid. I loved it. My father could be a complete asshole, but that was Super Sunday was just another opportunity for him to just be himself. God love the man. I love him to death. But I had the greatest experience with the Super Bowl. So I wrote a paper called Super Sunday, Super Indeed, to refute what my sociology professor had told us statistically. I told him about the joy of the Super Bowl. I forget the guy's name, but he didn't want to hear it. I got an F. So he was right, I was wrong, but he can't take away my experience and love of the Super Bowl. You can't take us away either. We're coming back tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. I was shot out of a cannon today. That's what a lot of sleep will do for you. Yeah. Thanks, Slovakics. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. We are Rogue Media Sports.